John Martin, author and former admissions dean at Columbia University, wrote an article in 2012 in which he makes the case in favor of graduate education, despite the rising cost of education in the U.S. He lists personal growth, greater employment opportunities, career advancement, financial rewards, sense of accomplishment, and recognition and credibility as reasons to consider graduate education. As I read this article, I suddenly realized that perhaps I should have considered these reasons before starting graduate school. But as I reflected on my educational journey, I realized that none of these reasons came to my mind when I began, nor throughout my journey. They probably should have, but they didn't. Instead, my journey was one of healing and self-discovery. My name is Ana Victoria Cortijo, and this is my journey through the Master's in Education in Adult Education and Training at Colorado State University.
Just what makes that little old ant think he'll move that rubber tree plant?
Before I began graduate school, I went through many professional failures, and unfortunately, I was at the receiving end of many humiliations, belittlement from past employers, and even teachers. I felt depressed, hopeless, and inadequate at best. I felt like I could do nothing well. I remember feeling insignificant, and I went as far as to compare myself with an ant in a conversation I had with my mother. At the time, I was living in China, and I couldn't speak the language. I spent most of my days alone, which made me very homesick. But even worse, I felt like time was passing by me and potential opportunities were just flying by me. Everybody was getting opportunities except for me. I was out of work, away from my country, and unable to move about easily to find opportunities. I was also unable to leave China because leaving would have meant giving up on my marriage and on my commitment to build a family.
Anyone knows an ant can't move a rubber tree plant.
One morning, as I was washing dishes and wallowing in self-pity, I noticed that I had an ant problem. There was this tiniest little crack in the corner of my windowsill in the kitchen, and I watched how these little insignificant ants marched into my kitchen and helped themselves to any crumb I might have missed while cleaning. So I decided to begin a plan of attack to get rid of my intruders. But I needed to do so using more natural ways rather than pesticides because I had 2 small children. I tried everything from using flour, lemon, orange peels, salt and pepper. Some of these methods worked for about an hour or so, but these ants were incredibly tenacious. Any smell of left behind crumbs made them pursue their goal against any obstacle. Tired of dealing with the problem, I went back online searching for more information on how to get rid of ants. Among the sites I searched, I didn't really find anything that I had not used before, but I did find information on how human beings could learn from ants. I even found the following parable. Go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider its ways and be wise. It has no commander, no overseer or ruler, yet it stores its provisions in summer and gathers its food at harvest. How long will you lie there, you sluggard? When will you get up from your sleep? A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come on you like a bandit, and scarcity like an armed man. Proverbs 6, 6 through 11. Powerful words written by King Solomon. And so it was that in the spring of 2010, I stopped being lazy and conforming to my situation, and I told myself that regardless of all the negative obstacles I had gone through, I could not allow the obstacles to interfere with my future. In the same way, my ants did not allow my obstacles to interfere with them gathering provisions for the future. I couldn't have a job to gain work experience. I couldn't have a business. I couldn't speak the language. I didn't have any friends. So I had to do something. I had to wake up, be wise, and begin gathering provisions for the future. And this is how and why I began my studies at Colorado State University.
But he's got high hopes. He's got high hopes.
Now, it is difficult to completely change a person's frame of mind from one day to the other, but at least I was on a path to gather provisions. Incredibly, I was excited that the format of my education was going to be online, because I believed that I would have very little interaction with anyone. I wouldn't have to reveal anything about myself. I could be alone in my own comfort and safety zone. I would just do what I was told, submit my assignments on time, avoid any type of issues with anyone, and simply gain my education all by myself. Well, as you know, I couldn't have been further from the truth. Instead, the adult education and training program taught me that although part of my nature requires solitude, alone time, and individualism, but relating to others and the inclusion of others, not only to speak but to listen, was equally important. It taught me that making myself fit into the group was paramount, not just for my education, but for the education of others. The adult education and training program provided me the ability to be myself, encouraging me to reflect on my life, my work, and my studies, giving me a platform to express my beliefs and opinions, giving me freedom to stand up for my values. But also, the program taught me that teaching itself, it's not a standalone exercise. It has to be thought of in more of a holistic term as a mediated, respectful transaction that involves the learner, the teacher, what is to be learned, and the learning environment. My professors inadvertently helped me to see my attributes and capacities and become less critical of myself, more productive, and less self-abusive. The AT program helped me to get a grip on my mind by providing me with constructive projects that taught me the theoretical foundations of the adult education profession, meaningful assignments to help me grow cognitively and professionally, a range of opportunities to focus my intentions on a daily basis on processing information, synthesizing information, providing me with the platform to deliver meaningful contributions to the weekly discussions with my peers, rather than sitting in self-loathing on past circumstances. I learned how to effectively facilitate and implement problem-based instructional methods and to design structured curriculum to help students enhance learning transfer by facilitating transformative learning in usable knowledge for real-world settings. I wholeheartedly believe that my journey through the AET program, combined with my personal experiences, including all my pitfalls, have helped me become a brain-friendly facilitator because I'm better prepared to put in action McCloskey's theory of margin. Now, I learned many theories throughout the program, but this is one that I will never forget because it reminds me how important it is to listen to my students and to observe the unspoken messages they provide by building relationships with them. By being in tune with my students, I can be cognizant of the self and social demands they have, as well as the resources that they can depend on during the learning situation. Therefore, being able to adjust my teaching style to better serve them. I have learned how important it is to maintain a positive and supportive attitude with my students because it is what I received during my journey and what has made me a successful adult facilitator. I gained many multicultural competencies, some of which I learned from my peers and others from assignments, projects, discussions, and books that I read. I also reinforced my views on diversity and social change. Needless to say that 15 minutes is just not long enough to convey how my journey through the adult education and training program at Colorado State University prepared me professionally, but also dramatically contributed to my healing and my own self-discovery. And for this unintended intervention in my life, I will forever be grateful. In the next 2 years, I plan to get an ESL certification because most of my experience in teaching is in English as a second language. I also plan to get a human resources certification because I believe that with it, I will be better prepared to join the corporate environment as well as perform training sessions within a corporation. Now that my children are a little older, I would like to go back to work, gain some experience. So I believe that for now and the coming 3 to 5 years, I am going to concentrate on getting these certifications, finding a job, and getting some experience. I also would like to invest some time doing volunteer work and using my teaching skills as a Sunday school teacher at my church. In the long term, I definitely plan to get more education. But for now, I think it's too soon for me to decide a future field of study at the moment. But one thing I know for sure is that I will never feel completely fulfilled in a work environment that will take away my opportunity to exercise my love for teaching.
He's got high apple pie in the sky hopes.
I am so ready and I'm so looking forward to the future with a positive outlook and frame of mind. I know that although at the beginning of my journey, I might have erroneously felt as insignificant like an ant, but I have learned that indeed the tenacity, work ethic, resiliency, and organization of an ant is exactly what I needed to learn. Although I still do not welcome them in my home, but I definitely embrace their qualities and look forward to continue being just like them. Because sometimes the most insignificant creatures are the ones that can teach others the most. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
Sky Anytime you're getting low, instead of letting go, just remember that ant. Oops, there goes another rubber tree plant.